there's 2, 3, and 4 to go. These are waves that are coming. And so people should be in there, and they should be out of the stock market in general, except for gold and silver shares. And bonds, the bond market is a bubble. When it's going to break, I don't know, but somewhere along the way, it is.
Now, what does that signify overall about the health of the economy? We saw on Monday, Bob, the federal government came out and said that the recession, this is a good joke, ended in June of last year, so 15 months ago, when every major economic indicator the Fed's put out, which are Cook themselves, shows we're in a deep ongoing recession. And most analysts, even mainline analysts, are saying we're going into a depression.
Well, it just shows you how evil they are and how badly construed the propaganda is and how blatant they are in what they do. Desperate people do desperate things. And they are in serious trouble because there's no way back. After June of 2003, the die was cast. There was no turning back for the people who were involved in bringing the markets down and doing what they did within the economy with real estate that really kicked this thing off. And so what can we expect? We can expect inflation will be higher. We can also expect that it could turn over the next 2 or 3 years into hyperinflation, maybe even quicker than that. And we also can expect that the economy, and this is the question really that you asked, the economy, even if they inject another $2.5 trillion, including any legislative stimulus, like they did in the last 17 months, the best they can do is grow GDP by 1%, and it may be worse than that. And so what are we looking at? We're looking at a sideways movement that's not going to improve employment. You should see the letters I get from people. They're heartbreaking. I just got one from Ontario. The man's been out of work for 7 years because his job was outsourced to China. And he was in the automobile industry. And it goes on and on and on. I mean, people who have worked all their lives, who are retired, they don't have anything. Can you lend me some money? I can't pay my bills. I can't even shop for groceries. And this is only the beginning of this nasty disaster. Can you imagine when it's going to be like a year or two from now? And so it's not good.
Well, they're just going to come on a year.
Was wrong.
Well, they're going to come out in a year or two and just tell us the economy's wonderful. We could all be homeless in the streets like the Great Depression. They'll say it's great.
Well, if you look at the homeless centers and if you look at the centers where they give out free food, people are lining up at midnight and 2 in the morning to be there when they open at 9 o'clock. I just put a link into the forecaster for tomorrow where I viewed these people, and the galaxy people just like you and I, normal, everyday, hardworking people who lost their jobs or retired or they're ill, and they don't have anything. I mean, what is it going to be like 2 years from now? Never mind more, 4 or 5 years from now. It's going to be awful. And they're not doing anything to fix it. They're just throwing money at it, and most of the money is being thrown into the hands of Wall Street and banking.
And it's just getting worse and worse and worse by the minute. Bob, I want to go to break, and I want to later get into some other news and get your take on it, dealing with the economy and some geopolitical developments. But I want to open the phones up specifically for economic questions for you. Now, folks, a lot of times we have totally open phones on any subject, or I say first-time callers, but sometimes I say specifically for our guest on the economy. That's the questions we're going to be taking for Bob Chapman. 1-800-259-9231, 1-800-259-9231 on any questions or comments you have on the economy. With this quantitative easing, with the announcements they're going to monetize more debts, where do you and your gut expect gold to be in December, Bob? Oh,
I think it'll be 1,500, 1,600, and silver could be as high as 30. an ounce, but 25 to 30 would be a good gain. And, we announced on this program 10 weeks ago that we were going to have quantitative easing, and nobody came out with that besides me. And now we're going to have it. And another very important event was the loss of Larry Summers, who was one of the architects of the suppression of gold and silver, which means, if anything, we're going to have a better chance of beating the government at their own game because their brilliant architect is now leaving.
But they're just replacing him with some other puppet. We'll be right back with Bob Chapman on the other side in your phone calls, prisonplanet.com.
You worry. You see the signs and worry about the future. You worry about economic turmoil and food shortages. How to be prepared while preserving your sanity. Your answer may be at hand. Author Linda Runyon lived off the land, isolated from civilization. She knows that as long as the sun shines, there will be plenty of free food all over God's green earth. Perhaps the only sane insurance is knowledge of wild edible plants. The cost of learning is minimal. Wild food grows everywhere, and you will see it everywhere. It's every bit organic and more nutritious than our modern diets. Well respected in her field, Linda's approach to teaching this subject includes books, flashcards, and video with an emphasis on health, safety, practicality, and joy. Learn how to identify it, where and when to find it, how to prepare, use, and store it. Go to Linda's website, ofthefield.com, and take advantage of special offers. Or if you're not online, call her 24-hour toll-free order line at 888-51-EAT-FREE. That number again, 888-51-EAT-FREE. A little knowledge makes starvation impossible.
The question is, where should the American people draw their line in the sand?
What have we got? A republic or a monarchy?
A republic is based on a constitution which protects minority rights.
Not democracy, not mob rule, two wolves and a sheep voting on what's for dinner.
So they think they own our land, they think they own our water, children, our education, our money.
We have to define who we are and what we will tolerate.
Somebody's going to ask you what you did during the Patriot Uprising.
You have been warned.
We have the facts. We have the Constitution. We have the Bill of Rights. We have common law. Knowledge is power, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm so excited to be able to offer you Don't Tread on Me, Rise of the Republic. Tyranny is upon us, but liberty and the sleeping giant that is the American people is rising. A new tool in the info war. Don't Tread on Me. Order it at Infowars.com or PrisonPlanet.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139 and support independent, patriotic Liberty films.
This may surprise you. Type 2 diabetes has reached epidemic proportions among both adults and children. You or someone you know may have it. Managing type 2 diabetes in conventional ways is a never-ending task. But this good news may also surprise you. A recent UCLA study proved that type 2 diabetes can be reversed in only 21 days. Purium Health Products recently developed a product that mimics the healthy diet used in that UCLA study. Called Scoop of Greens, an easy, great-tasting, affordable way to give your body the nutritional tools to help it overcome type 2 diabetes. Scoop of Greens has been awarded the Diabetes Resource Center seal of approval, so you know it's safe. See Scoop of Greens and other world-class whole living foods and nutraceuticals at diabetichealthsolution.com. To order, call 888-747-6733. That's 888-747-6733. Mention GCN for a healthy discount and ask about the buy 3 get 1 free special. Start keeping type 2 diabetes in check at diabetichealthsolution.com. If you're in a service business, that's money ringing in your ears. If your phone's not ringing, chances are it's a problem with your marketing. Landscapers, painters, roofers, carpet cleaners, pet sitters, handymen. Anyone with a residential service business can build a huge and loyal customer base fast with the Magic Yellow Flyer. No more expensive newspaper, yellow pages, or internet pay-per-click ads. The Magic Yellow Flyer will have new customers calling you within 1 week. The Magic Yellow Flyer marketing system is the most effective and inexpensive way to build a referral-only service business in a short period of time. And the Magic Yellow Flyer comes with an outrageous 1-year guarantee. You will get new customers or your money back. For details, go to MagicYellowFlyer.com. No matter what business you're in, the Magic Yellow Flyer marketing system will work for you. Visit MagicYellowFlyer.com. Put the Magic Yellow Flyer to work for you today. Visit MagicYellowFlyer.com.
Waging War on Corruption. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
Let's go directly to your phone calls. for Bob Chapman on this Friday edition. I'll be back Sunday, 4 to 6 p.m. Central for the abbreviated broadcast. Don't forget about that. Eric in Illinois, you're on the air with Bob Chapman. Go ahead.
Hey, Bob Chapman, just a quick question. Just wondering, what percentage would you recommend to put for someone to put their investment into gold? You know, a lot of people say diversify, but you know, are we at a point where we should diversify just between gold and silver, and that's about it, or what would you recommend for something like that?
Well, I feel gold and silver is the only place to be. It's the only place your money is safe, and there's no guarantees of anything, of course. But I've done this for a long, long time, and my assets are totally in gold and silver, and so and I continue to buy all the, whenever I can, and so. For those of you who think about diversification, how can you diversify safely when you get a bond market that's in a bubble and you don't know when it's going to burst, and you got a stock market that's overpriced? The pensions for these Fortune 500 companies are all underfunded. They're going to have to take that off of their earnings next year in order to fund them up, so to speak. And then if the market goes down in the coming year, they're going to have to fund them further, and that means less profits. And so if there's less profits coming next year, that means that the stock market will go down. And that all feeds on itself. So if the market went down to where it was a year and a half ago on the Dow to 6550, you would be looking at major companies that weren't making very good earnings. And that would mean that there would be tremendous pressure on the general stock market, on bonds, and the only place to go would be commodities or gold and silver. So the answer is gold and silver all the way.
All right, well, I listened to you pretty intently and Alex Jones pretty intently. Looks like, as soon as I get off this unemployment and start making some real money, I guess it's all going to go into gold and silver. So I want to thank you guys for what you do.
Thank you. Yeah, I've bought a lot of silver because it's inexpensive comparatively. And a lot of the silver I bought was at $5, $6, $7, $8 an ounce. I haven't bought a lot since it went up. Just haven't really had the funds. But I mean, the silver I've got has all gone up 3-4 times what it was previously. And Bob, am I correct in saying that silver is even more suppressed than what it should be than gold?
Yes, that's correct, because J.P. Morgan Chase and Hong Kong Shanghai Bank have made a life's work out of suppressing the silver price. Now that it's breaking away to the upside, they're going to have to cover their short positions. And that's going to propel silver probably more strongly than any propulsion that gold would have. And so there's probably much more upside, at least in the short term, in silver than there is in gold. Although I think they'll go over time in tandem. And so what you do is you split your investment, put part in both.
Yeah, I want to be specific, though. I'm no financial guru like Bob Chapman or even a lot of the mainline analysts agreeing with the things he's saying, or somebody like Max Kaiser. But when I bought gold at $300 an ounce and it went up to $500 and then went down a little bit, I didn't sell it. And when I bought gold at $900 an ounce and it went up to $1,000, I didn't sell it. And when it dropped back down to $900, I didn't sell it. And when I bought gold at $800 and now it's $1,300, I'm not selling it. And if they manipulate things for a while and it goes down a little bit, I'm not going to sell it then. I'm in this for the long haul. And if you look at a 10-year graph on gold and silver, it's going straight up. Correct, Bob?
Now, that's my take on it, and I've been doing this for over 50 years. And at one time, for 28 years, I was the largest gold-silver stockbroker in the world. So I certainly have a lot of experience in the area, and I know every blip for the past 50 years that's happened in that genre, so to speak. And so, yes, you're right, it's going to go up because all the currencies in the world are in trouble. They have all fallen for the last 7 years against gold. If you look at compound increases in the price of gold over the last 9 years, it's just under 20% a year. No other investment has returned that over that last 9 years. And it's going to continue. And Wall Street isn't even in on it. The public isn't even in on it yet. I mean, wait till buying starts in earnest. Well, what do we got? 2% of the public in the United States and